a little bit about, because a lot of you do have leadership experience, but I do want to talk about one thing that a lot of people don't talk about, and that's really the feeling of you deserving something, the feeling of entitlement. Like, there is one really dangerous emotion in the world, and that is pride. Like, from that, you have the feeling of entitlement, that you somehow deserve something. Like, I'll give an example. Let's use the example of colleges, because that's really relatable. Well, it will be relatable to you guys, some of you guys who are looking at colleges right now. You may start to get a feel of what I'm talking about. But if you look at what the people schools are accepting, and say you were better in one respect than that person who did get into, like, let's use an extreme example, Harvard. You didn't get in and that person did. And you're saying to yourself, why didn't I get in? I did X, Y, and Z and this person didn't. But then what I want you guys to do is just look at the other perspective. Look at the other people who you did well, and some people didn't do well. Let's continue using college. Sure, you may have extracurriculars, sure, you may have good grades, but let's look at someone who works 5 hours extra after school to help support their family financially. Does this person also deserve to get in? Like, wouldn't that help this person's life? Yeah, it would. So, like, who really deserves anything?
Amen.
And what I want to get across is that get rid of this feeling that you deserve anything, because one, it keeps you humble, and two, it keeps you hungry. It keeps you wanting more success. It keeps you working hard because you feel like you need to prove yourself, and that, I feel, is one of the strongest feelings in the world, that you need to prove yourself to someone. That, well, not necessarily that feeling, but you need to prove to yourself that you earned it, that you didn't just get it, that you weren't entitled to it. Like, and let me go back to when I first started the club. 3 years ago, it's in Mr. Simon's room. I walked in. I see 50 people in the room for the first meeting of Lowell.code. 50 people, and back then Miss Reller was her sponsor. Lover or hater, one thing she did do for the club is she helped start it. So she deserves that, at least that much praise. And I looked to her and I'm like, what the hell is this? And then she's like, just do your thing. And I go and I lead the meeting, just like I do every week now. And I felt like this was the good life. This was the standard. That somehow I deserved this because I created the club, so I deserved all these members. But soon, membership, just because people, a lot of them were underclassmen, a lot of them were freshmen, they found other clubs that they loved more than our club. That's the reality of things. One of the first, Winnie, our vice president right now, before the election, like, she's been with the club since day one. And I remember very clearly what the room looked like that day. If you imagine this is the computer lab, she was sitting right there with my friend Anthony, Tom, and over here were a couple of my friends. In the front, there were a couple of my friends. Miss Reller was sitting about right here, and right behind us would be the projector. I remember this day very clearly because it's a very special day to me. But the problem with this was I was expecting that every week, and I didn't really work for it. It was really undeserved. So as time went on and membership started to decline, I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is this happening? It went from 50 to 30 to 20 to 15. And that was really, really a huge hit to my pride. But then looking back on that today, I'm like, what did I do to deserve that? As in, first of all, I was like, why did I deserve to get that little members? But looking back as a senior, looking back at sophomore year Jeremy, I'm like, actually, what did I do to deserve that? That many people to begin with. First of all, I didn't work for it. And so I felt entitled to it. And that's such a dangerous feeling, because you get into this idea that it's really for you, and it shouldn't be. being a leader for a club means self-sacrifice for the goodness of this club. I realize I talk a lot about my self-deprecating nature and how I needed my vice presidents, my other leadership to talk to you. And I really do feel like it's because I took a lot of what the club did personally. I took this huge drop in membership personally, very personally actually. I really, looking back on that now, I shouldn't have. Because this is what a leader does. Take things to heart, but don't take it personally. Are you the same person as you were yesterday? Some people say yes, I would say no. We're all changing every day, each and every one of us. But you know what? That's okay. As long as you remember who you were the days before, remember the mistakes of yesterday, remember the happiness of last week, as long as you remember each and every incarnation of your past self, you just gotta keep on moving. Because if you remember those mistakes, remember those memories, you can keep on and make yourself a better person. The key is not to only remember things, but to learn from those mistakes. Remember all the good times and the bad and continue on with that. Because that's what a president's for. That's what, not necessarily just the president, that's what a leader's for. And I see you guys, and I see a bunch of bright-eyed young individuals who still have some form of self-esteem. And first of all, I'm jealous of that, because I wish I had some self-esteem.
You have means.
I do have means. And I could look at every one of you and say that I'm confident that each of you guys will lead the club gladly. I see people who are very passionate about computer science, about coding. I see people who are very outgoing, very happy to be doing what they're doing. I wish I was happy, first of all. I wish I was happy to come to school every day and with a smile. I think that's very hard. And I see those of you who just smile naturally. And I see people who don't necessarily know what they're doing but want to just go with the flow. And that sometimes is the best thing you can do. I will not forget a moment of this, and I hope you guys don't either. I love you guys. I will always be here. Yev,
Yes.
Clarice, Raymond, Alex, and Michaela. Thank you guys, because this...
Don't.
3 years ago, I was actually really doubtful that the club would survive. But you guys came our second year. And then you guys were there, and I saw people who would lead the club in the future. I actually did. I saw Yev, I saw Clarice 2 years ago. No, last year. I was like, the club has hope. And you know what? If I were to die tonight, yay! I would die. No. Yes, no more crippling depression. Yes, take that, depression. You can't hurt me if I'm dead. But
Doesn't that mean depression wins through that?
Huh?
They win
So
if you do
emotional,
that.
and then
No,
all of a
well-
sudden,
You
yeah,
know those
death.
things of the dudes like
It's like, hey, you can't get crippling depression if you're dead. But it's a little bit like that.
Can't
Like,
have a dictatorship if you don't have a dictator.
can't be a dictator if you're not a dick.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so back to being emotional and sad. So if I were to die tonight, I would have confidence that this club will go on for at least another year. At least another year. I'm pretty sure that by the time, if I were to come back in 2 years and visit, I'm pretty sure this club would still be here. And you know what? Shut up, Raymond. Like 2 years.
He'll probably be here still.
I would probably for those of you, Dalton, and like you guys, like who aren't leaders right now.
You're gonna be here. I'm gonna.
You guys are still coming, right?
What do you mean, like a year's span of time, or do you mean like a year in terms of a school year?
It's the same difference.
No, one of them is.
Shut up! Shut up, Raymond!
Stop it, Raymond.
I'll miss saying shut up, Raymond. But like, I'm more than confident that this club will still be alive, and that I can go on and see this, because really, in the past, I was really reluctant to give up some leadership, because this club, if you will, it's mine. Now, I don't mean that in a selfish way, but I put so much emotion into this. I've put my heart and soul into this. And I can go to bed tonight saying my child is safe now. and I'm okay with that. So you guys, yes, my child. This club is my child. You guys are all my children. You guys are all my children. Your mother was an absentee mother, and I had to take care of you guys. I had to, luckily, I had a nice startup who paid for all of our expenses. No, I'm that kind of dad. I'm a great dad, guys. I'm GoFundMe. GoFundMe.com. Please, we need money. But you guys, I will not forget a single moment of this. Thank you, guys.